Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Jermaine. And what I want to talk about right now is about Uber and about Lyft. But I'm mainly going to talk more about Uber because they're the bigger one. And Uber, they also do a lot more. Like you can get a car through Uber. You can get special insurance through Uber. Like, they're just more of the big dog. So, rideshare was introduced a couple years ago, and when it was first introduced, man, it was a lot different than what it is today. The type of people that were using it were totally different. The type of people who were driving were totally different. Nowadays, 2 years in, rideshare has become completely mainstream, meaning that it's very common for your average Joe to use, Uber or Lyft. Unlike before, it was just like a San Francisco, backdoor type business. How it started, how Lyft really started, and then Uber sort of took on their idea, and I don't know, they just became Uber X now. Before Uber, they deal with like high-end clients, but now they just deal with anyone. So, once again, why I think these guys are both bad ideas, because, see, you got to remember, when they first started off, wasn't a lot of people using it. So, they had to get drivers to stay. So, they paid drivers a lot back then. I mean, you could easily make $1,000 a week. Okay. Nowadays, to make $1,000 a week is just a joke. Like, it is, versus what I remember when I started in December 2013. It was things were much different back then. It was easy, man. I mean, it wasn't a big deal to find rides. It wasn't a big, the surge pricing was nuts. I remember right around Christmas time, it was awesome. But now, it's just a mainstream business, and they don't really care about drivers. What people must realize that none of these, like, app jobs, they care nothing about you. To them, you're just a number. Like, to Uber, you're just a driver who drives, X amount of hours a week. That's all you are to them. Like, you are nothing. If your car breaks down, so what? You know what's going to happen? Someone else will take your place. And that's just how these businesses work. And all of them are like that. Any job that you get at 1099, you can just easily be replaced. Now, don't get me wrong, like, a job is different. At least you can get, like, unemployment with a job, At least, a job can offer you, like, insurance and stuff. But, with these guys, unfortunately, you don't even get that. But, this is a really bad thing about Uber. Okay, so let's say you do make $1,000 a week, because I just got my last pay statement, and man, I was out there for quite a bit. I thought I was gonna at least make $1,300, at least make $1,300. Getting in my car, I'm just leaving the bar. So I thought I could easily make $1,300, but no way, dude. I didn't even make $1,300. I made like 10 something, right? No big deal. So I'm waiting on the money. So I'm just thinking to myself about all the driving that I drove for the $1,500, the $1,050 they're gonna give me. So I'm thinking about all the driving I drove for Uber. Okay, so I'm thinking about this here. Like, Thursday night, I definitely put roughly 250 miles on my car, right? Alright. So, Saturday, I drove quite a bit. And the other days, I kind of got really lucky, got a bunch of surge pricing. But I know Thursday was like a day I did a lot of driving, like a lot of airport runs. And the deal, one thing you got to remember, guys, when they pay you that, $1,050, you gotta subtract gas. Like, I went to the gas station multiple times. You gotta subtract car depreciation, which is extremely difficult to calculate. Now, some people may say, yeah, my car is paid off and I don't care about it depreciating. That's a whole nother topic. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. How they're still getting over on you, even if your car is paid off, even if your grandfather gave you his old car and it cost you nothing to get in, they're still getting over on you guys. Okay. Once again, Uber is set up for the driver not to win. The driver has no control. Okay, you can be in a surge area and it could be 3x on your phone, and all of a sudden a ride pops up that says 1.2, and you're looking like, what the heck? Like, I was in the 3x, like, why is it 1.2? Like, they have no control over you. And one thing about Uber, like, I don't doubt this. I'm not saying that you can't make money, because, like, I've made money with Uber. Like, I've made tons of money. I've worked short amount of hours, made tons of cash. The shorter you work, the better. The longer you work, the less you're gonna make per hourly on average. So you want to remember that. But the deal is, I feel that they sort of lure drivers in, and at first, maybe you're getting a lot of surge pricing, maybe you're getting a lot of good rides, you're luring in, but then all of a sudden, those rides sort of dwindle down on you, All of a sudden, instead of getting those good rides anymore, you're getting like crappy normal rides, but you don't really notice because all of a sudden it's been 2 or 3 weeks, So it's a really tricky thing. Like, honestly, I would say cab drivers make more money in San Francisco than Uber drivers do, just because this one simple fact: a cab driver can pick up anyone. A cab driver can drive straight down Market Street. A cab driver can pick up and he can drive in certain lanes that a normal car can't drive in. He can make certain lefts. So if you think about, if you're on Market Street and you're driving Uber, right, and your client is just, she's right down Market Street, but you can't go straight because all passenger cars must go right, and you have to go around the block and get back on the Market Street. In heavy traffic, that could take you 15 minutes, You can spend 15 minutes waiting on that person, right? And then let's say they want to go a $5 distance. Well, you just spent 15 minutes taking them a $5 distance, right? And then Uber's still going to take their 20%, right? And you got this cab driver over here. He's going to pick that lady up. He's going to go straight down Market Street. He's going to pick that woman up, right? They're going to do this $5 ride. And who knows? She might throw him a $10 bill, right? And say, keep the change. But the Uber guy, with these, I don't mean to be mean, but sort of cheap ass clients. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm totally the type that'll save a buck. Like, come on, I'm gonna definitely use Uber over Lyft, Uber over a taxi. But still, dude, a lot of Uber clients are like cheap asses. Like, basically, they're cheap asses. Like, they're just using it because it's the cheapest option. If taxi was cheapest, they would be using taxis. But it's just Uber is the cheapest. So they're cheap asses. So anyway, that's just how it is with, how it works. And one thing you guys have to remember is, yeah, you can make, let's say you make $2,000 in a week, all right? Yeah, wow and dandy. You know what you're really going to be thinking about in your mind? In your mind, you're going to be thinking about, man, Thursday, I'm going to get $2,000 in my account from Uber. Like, that's going to be nice. Like, I can pay my rent. Like, I can buy groceries. Like, you're just going to be thinking about the $2,000 you're getting. Some people might set aside some for taxes, but a lot of people don't even do that, If you make it $2,000, you should at least sit aside like, $300 for taxes, at least. I mean, if not $500. But then that's just how it happens, you work 60 hours 70 hours to make that $2,000. Now, don't get me wrong. Your Uber statement may say you were logged on for 40 hours or you were logged on for 30 hours. That's never accurate, okay? That's never accurate. In San Francisco, what a lot of drivers do, just like myself, and I see people doing this all the time, is they drive to one area and pick up where it's surging. And usually, let's say it's the marina, and everyone's going downtown, which is the financial district. So it's not surging downtown. So what most drivers do is they'll pick up where it's surging, take the people where they want to go, drop them off downtown, cut their phone off, and drive back. Now, I know people do this because when I'm driving, like, I'll look over and see another Uber driver, and I can see his phone is cut off, you know? Like, it's not on. Like, it says looking for a ride. And then all of a sudden, you know, now everybody's picking up rides, but that distance that you drove back empty was not counted in that, in whatever hourly rate that's on your summary, and whatever hours you did on your summary. That's not, all that time is not included. So if your summary says you work 30 hours, chances are I probably work 45 hours, because majority of the time I had the app off so I can get the better surge rides. So you got to think about that too, you know. Even when you're out there, just because Uber says, oh, you work 50 hours, and you're thinking, oh yeah, I made $2,000 and I'm doing so good. But yeah, you were probably working more like, when Uber says you work 40 hours, you probably work more like 60 hours, because you had to wash your car, you had to pump gas, you spent time on, you know, washing your windows. You know, you spend all this time that you don't realize that you're spending on Uber, you know, and you realize that you really don't make a lot of money, okay? And at the end of the day, your car is gonna break down. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? This is not gonna happen to every driver, okay? Some drivers do make money. Some drivers do make money. They set money aside. It's all different for every different individual in different markets. Some markets, you could drive Uber all day. Like if I went to San Francisco right now, I'm just right over the bridge in Oakland right now. I got an appointment coming up with my other gig. But if I was right over in San Francisco right now, there's a huge conference going on. And I could drive all day and make $500, you know. But dude, after I drive all day and make $500, how many miles did I put on my car? How much value in one day did I depreciate in my car by doing all that driving? Okay, and then how much did the gas cost? You know? Now think about that. Think about that, guys. That's a wrap. Peace.